Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Good evening. It is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Balls podcast. That right there is Luke Rule. Doc will be joining us momentarily. And tonight is a good night, Luke. We have college football less than one night away. We're less than 24 hours away. We have some good games on tomorrow. UNC, Minnesota. I know all eyes will be on Colorado and North Dakota State University. Of course, your team plays the New Hampshire Wildcats. So, Luke, how are you feeling about the UCF night season and tomorrow night, big opening night in the Bounce House?
Yeah, I mean, the first bounce this week, starting tomorrow. So, I mean, I can't wait for it. I mean, got the new uniforms all good to go, blacked out for this game. Huge game for us. First game of the season. That's pretty much our preseason game. Little warm up game before we get into conference play here in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, excited to see what our offense can do. I mean, completely different team from last year. Gus Malzahn hit the portal hard, hit recruiting hard. So brought in pretty much an entire new team. So I'm excited for it.
Are the UCF Knights on upset alert tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. they're 49 point favorite right now or something like that.
Jesus.
Where to go? So if they get upset on that, it's gonna be a bad day. Bad day. I mean, I will not be on the podcast for the rest of the year if they do get upset. 41 point favorite. Yeah. So they cannot lose this game.
I just realized because I got back
too much shit last week. Talked too much shit last week for them to lose.
Yeah, if you lose that's worse than losing to Georgia Tech in Ireland. So that'll be a tad bit worse. And I just realized, I got back just momentarily from our softball game. Did not change my flag out, so no Longhorns flag tonight. But still repping the team. Like you said before the show, we played Colorado State. They gave Colorado a run for their money last year. This is obviously going to be Colorado State's biggest game of the year, so they're going to probably come at us hard. I mean, obviously they have to play Colorado and other rivals. So, but outside of the rivalry games, this is their biggest game. This is their national championship, you can say, unless somehow they make it the highest Group 5 winner and they make the playoffs. But at the moment, this is their national championship. This is the team that we pay to play. Obviously, at the time, I think we pay to play them, and now they're FBS. But I think Texas should win. We have some key transfers coming in, like UCF, like you mentioned, your team. Quinn Ewers is back. Might see some March Manning if the game gets out of hand. So, I mean, it's college football. 3:30 for Texas, man. Right in the sucks because
never know what's going to happen with college football. I mean, week 0, quite a few upsets. Week 0, one that was almost really close. SMU almost took a big upset. They took it down the wire to finish that game off, but a couple of upsets last week. So you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you can have some of these Group of 5 teams come upset some of these Power 4 teams.
Jules, stay with us. We're going to talk Miami, Florida, probably the second game. We're going to start with Clemson and Georgia once we roll into it. Obviously, that Miami, Florida game, I mean, I know we're going to talk about it shortly when Doc gets on, but man, that's why I'm a little upset that Texas plays at 3:30 because I want to have my eyes straight up on Miami, Florida. That is outside Clemson and obviously Texas because I'm a fan, but outside like the Clemson, Georgia, that's probably the biggest game. I'm really focused on Miami, Florida, and I can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to watch it. Cam Ward, Damian Martinez, just a little sneak preview of what we're going to talk about. Transfer from Washington State, transfer from Oregon State. Miami's I'm believing the hype this year. I really am. They're one of my storylines. Can the Miami hype finally be real? Can the hype they've only had really one good season since leaving the Big East many, many years ago. So I'm excited to see the Miami Hurricanes this year. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not sold on them. I mean, Florida's made a tough team playing in the swamp, so they always play well there. So, I mean, Miami's got a tough task if they're going to come to the swamp and beat them. I hope they do because, I don't like Florida, but I'd like to see Florida lose. I'd like to see Florida lose to every Florida team this year.
That'd be awesome.
It's very possible.
That'd be awesome. Actually, I kind of want them to beat Florida State because it'd be fun for our show. You know what I mean? But let's talk about the first game we're going to talk about, and that is the Clemson Tigers from South Carolina. the ACC team as well, traveling to Atlanta to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to face the Georgia Bulldogs. Luke, this was a matchup 3 years ago in the 2021 season. If you recall, DJ was the quarterback for Clemson, and it was 10-3. It was 2 field goals and a pick six or a fumble six, whichever. I forgot. I think it was a pick six. But defense ran the game, and obviously the storyline is, can Clemson play good enough to quiet the doubters? Their defense is usually stellar. The offense, Luke, is the question mark with this team. O-line last year was pretty bad. Cade Klubnik, he had some moments where he just held on to the ball too long. But I understand that when the O-line's beating you up, you probably are panicked and because everything's coming at you 100 miles per hour. Receivers haven't been the best neither for the Clemson Tigers recently. But the Georgia Bulldogs, Luke, now they're trying to get that dynasty 3 out of 4 years. They didn't win last year. They lost the SEC title game in Alabama. That knocked them out of the playoffs. So, Luke, what do you think about the Clemson-Georgia game this weekend?
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, noon game too.
Yeah, it's weird. Early kick for this game, especially for a game being held at Mercedes-Benz, Georgia's second home.
Yeah, it has been. It has been recently.
I'm pretty sure they've won more games than the Falcons have in that stadium in recent years.
No, calm down, calm down.
It's probably close. Probably close. At least
not this year. Not this year. We'll get some win. We'll talk about the Falcons in the NFL later.
They'll have a win. They're gonna have a win in that stadium before the Falcons do this season.
Well, they also play in it before the Falcons do too. So I mean,
but yeah, I think Georgia's just gonna run away with this game. I don't think Clemson is as good as they're ranked. I mean, compared to I watched a couple SEC teams play last week. I mean, ACC teams, and if that's what the ACC's got this season, and they'll be just riding on Clemson. I'm not high on Clemson, so I think the ACC might be the number 4 seed when it comes to Power 4 teams in the playoffs. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not big on Clemson. I haven't been big on Clemson in the last couple of years. I mean, they somehow always lost a big game the last couple of seasons, and I think they lose another one this season.
They haven't been in the playoffs since they haven't been in the playoffs since the COVID season when they lost to Ohio State, and it was also a shortened year, so Ohio State only played like 6 games after the conference title. But no, Luke, I'm actually a little opposite. I mean, I think that Georgia is going to pull away and win. Don't get me wrong. I have the dogs here. I have the SEC Darlings right now, the number 1 team. But I think Clemson is going to play a good game. And don't get me wrong. If Clemson loses, they're not out. What's the spread at the moment?
13.5.
See, I'm taking less. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be no more.
I don't think it's going to be that close.
See, I don't know, man. I just feel like Cade showed flashes last year. I mean, he had really good numbers. The O-line was a bad, and I get it. This is the problem with Dabo and the Clemson Tigers is they don't really recruit in the transfer portal. They don't really go get names. They did lose a really good safety.
They had zero players from the transfer portal.
Was it 0? I thought they had 1. I saw someone.
Last I saw it was 0.
Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, maybe it was 0. I mean, I'm not
0 or 1 still doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
They lost 4 players than they got.
And they lost a very good safety, and he went to Texas, and he's gonna be starting for Texas. He was a starting safety last year for them. Now the Clemson defense is never the issue. I mean, truthfully, the defense is solid. So it's just what the offense is going to do. I think the O-line is going to be much better this year. The run game is usually good. The backup running back last year actually outrushed Will Shipley. So he showed he can be a starter when they actually can give him the bulk of the carries. It's going to fall on really the Cade, the receivers, and the O-line. And I think that they're going to be good enough. Like I said, a loss here is not going to knock them out of any playoff hopes. I think if you get blown out.
It helps that Florida State already lost and SMU
it's not a conference, but it's not a conference game. So you can lose this game, and if you only lose by a few points, whatever. Like I said, I'm going to take under the spread. You probably still maybe fall down to 20 at the worst, and you still control your destiny. Honestly, you just keep playing, keep winning. You just don't want to get blown out because that's the confidence issue. That's like Oregon a couple of years ago when they played Georgia. They got blown out, and Oregon was still good, but they lost games that they shouldn't have later on in the year. So if Clemson could play Georgia tough, which I think that they do. I think that Georgia's going to be in a close, contested game, and then maybe they pull away towards the end, maybe get to 10 points, 12 points, and then Carson Beck. I mean, he's a Heisman candidate at the moment. So I think Carson Beck's in for a big year, honestly, Luke. I know that Georgia receivers are hard. Like the Georgia quarterback, right? Recently, the receivers haven't been the big names like they used to be. I know Lad McConkey got drafted, but like outside that and Brock Bowers, I mean, hasn't been super big names. I think Carson Beck's gonna have a good year this year for the Bulldogs. Tough schedule too.
I think so too. I mean, yeah, it's a tough schedule Georgia's had in a long time. So I mean, they'll be going through the gauntlet this season, and if they can prove they beat everybody, they'll be easily the number 1 seed.
But there's an issue though with Georgia. So they had 2 transfers come in for running back, Etienne, and I forgot the other guy's name, but the other guy's out, and Etienne's questionable. Like Dabo hasn't, Kirby Smart hasn't confirmed if Etienne's playing. So if you're down Etienne and your backup, now you're on a 3rd-string running back. That could help. That could help the Clemson Tigers. Now you're forcing Beck to do a lot of damage here just by himself if the run game can't get going. So that's an issue too. If the defense can set up the Clemson offense on short fields, that is what Clemson could benefit off of as well. So it's just the key piece to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Clemson pull it off, but I just highly doubt it. I just don't see it happening. I mean, it's great to see Georgia lose, right?
It's just crazy because like teams like Alabama, especially in this era, like Georgia, like they keep filtering in players. Like these top guys go, and then they just keep coming in. Like the O-line looks like they're all elite. Like they're already ranked to be like elite defender.
They got like the biggest O-line in college football.
Yeah, and the D-line's not small neither. So the trenches is nasty for Georgia. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to give Dabo one more season. I'm not saying that because I don't have them win the ACC, but I have them going 10-2, just missing the playoffs. But I think that they could play the Georgia Bulldogs pretty tough. I really do.
I don't know. I don't see it.
You're just tired of believing in them at all.
I don't believe in Dabo anymore. I mean, I think he might be gone after this season. Not fired, but I think he might move on because I think the Clemson fan base is going to get tired of just mediocre football.
What job do you think he would take? I mean, we're going to talk Lincoln Riley and USC. Do you think maybe if they get rid of Lincoln Riley, maybe he goes to USC?
I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some job openings.
Oh, Dabo.
Florida might have a job opening. Arkansas is probably going to have a job opening.
I couldn't imagine Dabo wearing blue and orange. It'd be so weird.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better than Billy Napier.
Yeah, we're going to talk. Actually, let's talk Miami and Florida.
That dude's getting fired. They set him up to get fired.
So the Miami Hurricanes, the Florida Gators. This is an in-state rivalry. Luke, we're going to be on Facebook, probably watching Facebook just explode. Obviously, Florida State fans will chirp in with the Gators and the Hurricanes. You know that all three do at each other. But mind the social media stuff. The Hurricanes ranked 19th. A lot of hype at the moment with Damien Martinez from Oregon State coming at running back, Cam Ward coming in at quarterback, and then you got the Florida Gators, Graham Mertz. You have DJ as the backup there, and the question is when will he come in? But like I said, Billy Napier here. The Gators, this is a statement game for them because they've been so terrible the last few years. This is a prove-it game for the Florida Gators, and it is in the Swamp at 3:30. Like you said, Luke, before the show, anything can happen in the Swamp. So when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida Gators, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to?
I mean, it's gonna be a pretty nasty game in the Swamp. I mean, these two. I don't remember the last time these two teams played against each other.
2019.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit. So I mean, there's gonna be a lot of shit talking in this game. It's a battle for Florida here. Who's gonna be the best team in Florida? It's always something that comes down to the end of the season, like which team was the best. So I mean, this is a big game that goes into that shit talking for the rest of the season. And it'd be tough for either team to take a loss this early in the season, especially for Florida because Florida's got a hell of a schedule coming up.
The hardest schedule in FBS.
Yeah, they have a hell of a schedule. Plus, I mean, Billy Napier's job is on the line pretty much, I think, almost week to week at this point. I mean, he can't go lose to Miami week one. If he loses, it has to be a close game. Like, they cannot go get blown out at home to Miami. Just can't.
Because the hot seat, the seat's going to get hotter and hotter. Like, you're not going to get fired week one, of course. Doesn't matter if you lose.
No, You get a week 3 or 4. If they go to lose to UCF and Miami, he's gone.
I think UCF could be, if you lose to Miami and UCF, if you beat Miami and then lose UCF, he could maybe get somewhat of a pass. But you lose to both, like you said. Yeah, that could be the icing on the cake right there.
Yeah, I think he's already on the hot seat, and that seat's just going to get hotter and hotter with each loss they have.
I mean, the problem with Napier is when he built up, I think it was Louisiana, they built through the trenches. The O-line was solid, and the O-line, since he's been there with the Florida Gators, they haven't been too impressive. They've been like a walk in the park, actually. Like, defensive lines beat up on them, pass rushers beat up on them, and the D-line itself, they've been the defense in general for the Florida Gators the last couple seasons has been just what we expect the Florida Gators to be. Us growing up, the Florida Gators are hard-hitting, in your mouth, like, defense. That's not the Gators anymore, it seems like. The secondary is usually solid, but the pass rushers are like I think, and it might be because the offense doesn't really put them in a good spot, but the offense wasn't a problem really that much last year. The receivers weren't bad, the running backs weren't bad, and now Etienne's gone, and you have Jones there, but Mertz, Pearsall's gone. I mean, Mertz was accurate, but he's not very like mobile. He's not very athletic where he's going to like wow you. He's not going to impress you with anything. And that's why I think the freshman should start, because the freshman is dynamic with his legs and his arm. Just questions when we're going to see him.
Hopefully he's still on the bench by the time we play him. But right now, playing against the guy, the running quarterbacks always give UCF's defense a problem.
And I still stand by Graham Mertz should not be wearing number 15. I'm gonna stand on that hill until
retire the number. Then you
don't have to retire the number. It's an unwritten rule. Quarterbacks don't wear 15. Like, it's just the way it works. You can't do it. But no, I mean, Florida, like I said, their defense has to step it up, because Miami's defense has always been pretty, like, they've been good in our era of, like, you know, us growing up. The Miami defense the last like 5-6 years have been good. Mario Cristobal finally, like I said, has a quarterback and a running back there. And the O-line's not a weakness in Miami at all. And the receivers were pretty good last year. It was the quarterback, Taylor Van Dyke, wasn't that good. And Cam Ward was pretty good at Washington State. He can run, he can throw. So I'm behind the hype, Luke. I really am. I think Miami, they start an impressive run this year. I think they'll have a loss or two. I can understand that, but I easily can see them in the ACC championship. I really can.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him in the ACC championship after I've seen a couple of ACC teams play. I think it might be Miami Clemson playing, or Miami Virginia Tech, or I don't know, somebody. It's not Florida State.
Hey, Georgia Tech.
It doesn't look good for Florida State, especially they got another tough game coming up this week.
Well, Georgia Tech is the first place team right now in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, they could run the table. Who knows?
Well, Nick Saban said
solid team. They ran the ball well,
and they played good defense for the most part, which was their weakness last year. So, I mean, the offense was never an issue last year, really. But back to the Miami Gator game. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know if I can trust Florida to pull this game. I mean, like you said, things can happen in the swamp. I get that. I just don't trust what I've seen from the Florida Gators the last couple of years, especially under Napier. I don't like anything about this team. The offense is pretty electric, don't get me wrong, but is the offense going to go score 30-something points on Miami's defense? Miami's got a good defense.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell what any team has, like, starting the season, because so many players move each season now with the transfer portal. So it's like you don't know what any of these teams are going to look like week one.
No, I mean, I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna have to throw in multi-view for these series of games. You got Texas and Colorado State playing the same time.
I will have. I'm hoping that college. I know the NFL ticket is allowing it. They have not announced if you can do it for college yet. If you can pick the games you want.
Yeah, the other games in that time slot are not the best. Looking at it, I mean, Ohio State does play, but they play Akron. Not exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I would have it on just to have it on, just to see them. But like my focus would be obviously Florida, Miami, Texas, Colorado State. Like I said, I tried Googling if college will allow me to pick my own multi-view. And when I say allowing to pick, it always just talks NFL. So like Google doesn't help me out at all. And so, Luke, let's move on to the Fighting Irish and the Aggies out of Texas A&M.
Game of the week. College game day is going here.
Surprisingly, this is college game day, and I don't agree with it. I really don't. I feel like the first two games we discussed. Well, actually, real quick, back to Miami.
This one's the only ranked matchup, isn't it?
Clemson, Georgia, 114.
Yeah. Georgia's going to get college game day probably at least twice, anyways. They go somewhere else.
Real quick though, with Miami, Florida, who do you have winning?
I got UF winning. I think UF's going to win in a close one, just because they're at home in the swamp.
Man,
I want Florida to lose though.
You want them to lose?
I want Florida to lose. I think they will edge this game out. And
then that quiets the hype of Miami?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not on the Miami hype train. I have to see it to believe it. Every year I feel like Miami gets hyped up at the beginning of the season, and it's just like they get a couple of wins going and they fall off. It's the way it's been the last, 3-4 seasons?
Years. Well, 20 years, really.
They get a couple early wins and they start playing conference play and they just tank. And so I want to see Miami prove it this year that they can actually go in and beat some of these big teams that they haven't been recently.
I respect that. Like that's a respectable concern. Like, obviously the hype, like I said, I don't typically buy into the Miami hype, but this year I am, just because I like Cam Ward. I like Damian Martinez. That's the only reason why. But I respect where your concern is with the Hurricanes out of Miami. So very, very understandable there.
Yeah. Plus they don't have their own stadium. Like, come on, get together.
But back to the Aggies and the Fighting Irish. Yes, like you said, this is college game day. I still think because of the in-state rivalry, I thought Miami, Florida would have been a better atmosphere. That would
have been a good one. That would have been a good one to go to, even though both not ranked, but it would have been wild in the swamp for college game day.
Clemson, Georgia, I mean, we've seen it, but still, like, you're going to get Clemson fans there. You're going to get Georgia fans. It's going to be like a lot of split. I think even Miami and Florida, you'd see like a lot of green and orange in the swamp, especially at the college game day location.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, it's one of the most expensive games this season, I think. At least for Florida.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the bigger ones. But Luke, this game right here, this game screams a lot of storylines. Obviously, the Aggies, no more Jimbo Fisher. He's done. You bring in Mike Elko from Duke. The Duke quarterback, Riley Leonard, is at the Fighting Irish. The Fighting Irish keep rolling those transfer quarterbacks in. This time it's Riley Leonard, which he had injury problems last year, but he was pretty solid the year before that. And then, I mean, just a lot of change. I mean, the Irish lost their running back to the draft. The O-line keeps the beef up. They re-beef up as they go. Like, the Aggies, though, they're in a new transition era of what they're going to do here. I believe that they are running a duo, it's like a two offensive coordinators essentially. So, what do you think about this matchup? I mean, it's just I honestly don't know how to feel about the Irish and Aggies.
Yeah, I think this is a toss-up game for me. Like, this game can go either way. It could be either really close or it can be a blowout on one side. I mean, I think this game's gonna be really close, going both ways. Pretty much two brand new teams, new coach for Texas A&M. I mean, obviously the betting lines don't know which way this game's gonna go either. I got A&M as a 3-point favorite. I mean,
they are
close. Yeah, A&M's probably just because they're home.
12th man.
There's a long way for Notre Dame to come down to go play in College Station, and Kyle Field is gonna be jam packed. It's gonna be loud. So it's one of the biggest stadiums in college football. So
it's one of the loudest ones too. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be doing their little cheerleading shit in the crowd. Their yells or whatever, the howl or whatever the fuck they call it.
But like you said, it's just you don't know what to expect here. I mean, Notre Dame traditionally they have a solid defense in the regular season, and like new quarterback, new running back. I mean, normally the Irish they're a good ground and pound type of team. They run the ball. It sets up for the quarterback.
I like seeing the Irish taking on an SEC team. They early to start off the season. Usually they don't have too many big games throughout the season. They go play some Big Ten teams. But other than that,
Pac-12 teams.
yeah. So I mean, I like them seeing it, like switching it up. I mean, they're independent, so they can go play whoever they want or whoever wants to play them. So I like seeing them take on an SEC team.
Yeah, I think they played it. Did they play A&M last year? Week 1? I don't remember who the Irish played, or was the A&M played Miami? I think it was a 1-1 with Miami. They might have done, but no, like you said, the Irish they only play like a handful when they're the Pac-12. The Pac-12 they play the Big Ten, the ACC schools. They always play Navy, of course, which now Navy's in the AAC. So they'll play a Group 5 there. But no, I just want to see this game. Like I said, I had the Irish undefeated when we did our predictions because their schedule I feel is very easy outside Texas A&M and Florida. Well, what we thought Florida State was supposed to be or potentially going to be. I still had them winning because it's in South Bend. Like that game was in Notre Dame for the Florida State game. But like you said, I think it's going to go back and forth. I think it's going to swing both ways. But I feel like Coach Marcus Freeman, I feel like Riley Leonard, I feel like the run game, whoever the running back is going to be, they usually go by committee if they don't have a for sure stud. They're going to control the clock. They're going to control the game. A&M, like you said, is in a transition. Notre Dame's not in a true transition because this is what they do. They plug in new quarterbacks. And I feel like the Irish will pull away, I honestly do.
Yeah,
late. It's not going to be a blowout.
Definitely a game I'm going to have on. So I'll be definitely tuned into this one.
This is the night game.
One of the closest matchups probably out of the games this week. I mean, it's just like college just gives you like a little tease week by week. Like you get like last week you got a couple games, and now you got everybody, but not everybody's playing good teams, so it's not stacked matchups. You got a couple good matchups here and there, like drizzled in, and then you move into next week, and then the matchups start getting a little better. And you move into week 3 and week 4 conference plays starts for mostly everybody.
I do think it's funny though. So we have 6 guys, like our 6 guys. You being a UCF fan, being a Texas fan, Alan's a Tennessee fan. The 3 of us don't really have a hard game. At least we don't think so. Alan also wanted me to shout out that he's got the Volunteers winning the national championship this year. Homer pick probably, but and then you have Doc, Chris, and Jake's teams all playing a Power 5 school. Boston College isn't like they're not ranked by any means, but they typically play Florida State pretty close. I mean, Florida State also had to play Georgia Tech last week, so 2 conference games off the rip for Doc's team. So our 3 teams get a pretty good.
Florida State can't take this loss.
No, and
you can't start off 0-2 in conference play.
I'm waiting for Doc to hopefully get in here. I don't know what's going on. I wanted to say Florida State for him, but we could talk about Chris's team, the LSU Tigers, as they are in Las Vegas Sunday night against the USC Trojans. I believe USC
only game on Sunday should be exciting one.
I'm not sure what the ranking is on this. I know they're both ranked, but I don't know.
13 and 23. LSU's 13.
Okay, I knew it was the mid team.
So I mean,
brand new stuff for both teams too. Luke, we talking about A&M and the Irish. I mean, LSU both receivers into the draft.
New quarterback.
New quarterback. You have Nussmeier.
The last year's Heisman and the year before Heisman quarterbacks both gone.
Yeah, Caleb Williams is gone. Is the hot seat getting warm for Lincoln Riley as he's in his first year in the Big Ten?
I mean, I think his seat's warm. I mean, he's first year in the Big Ten, so I think he can take a couple more L's. But last year, it got out of hand for them. Like they started off the season hot, and they just dropped it at the end of the season. And so, I mean, this is a big statement game for USC. I think if they go in to Vegas and beat LSU, I think he turns on the seat coolers. Is what Lincoln Riley's going to do. Like his seat's probably safe for the season.
Well, Paul Feinbaum's calling for his job, so Paul is not a big fan of Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, he's an SEC homeboy though.
He's an SEC fanboy, but he respects Ohio State, but doesn't truly respect Ryan Day. He's off the Dabo train. He used to respect Clemson because they were a powerhouse, but now he doesn't respect Dabo. Now he respects Texas and Oklahoma because now they're in the SEC. He used to shit on them until they got announced they were coming to the SEC. So yeah, Paul's an interesting. I'm still not the biggest fan of Paul, but
SEC fanboy.
He is. But no, I mean, and LSU too, Luke. They've had struggles the last few years, starting off strong in the first week.
Especially their defense, which is usually a strong point for the LSU team, is their defense. Last year, their defense was terrible. Like they were shootout after shootout, and luckily they had those Jaden Daniels and the top 2 wide receivers. Like, good Lord, because every week was a shootout for them, and that's part of the reason Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. You see, he had to fucking sling the ball every play.
I mean, are they still DBU? I mean, like they claim defensive back unit.
I don't think so.
I think this year's Ohio State, but no, not that I
remember too many LSU players being.
Well, I wouldn't even say that.
Three skilled guys, so quarterback, 2 wide receivers.
Well, they also got burnt. That's another. Even if one did get drafted, it doesn't really scream anything at me. Like your defense was gassed. I mean, well, a lot of it was the run. Like the defensive line has been terrible. I think I saw the stat in the last 2 seasons. They've allowed 2,000 rushing yards, both seasons.
But too bad Chris is in here, but I'm pretty sure LSU got a brand new defensive coordinator this year. So hopefully they can figure out how to use Perkins, because last year Perkins was not an issue at all for any team. I don't know, Perkins looked like he was lost in the sauce playing defense last year compared to when he played the season before.
Chris said the defense coordinator has been like it, and what he's been hearing in practice, it's been a step ahead in the right direction. Is what he's been saying.
They're playing against themselves. You never know what practice really means.
Yeah. I mean,
but USC is usually pretty weak on defense, so LSU should be fine with the offensive side.
Speaking of Chris, he said Perk put up the same numbers as freshman year. Yeah, Chris, I mean, he might have put up the same numbers. It just seemed like maybe because the defense wasn't as relevant, it just seemed like he wasn't relevant. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that he played bad. It just seemed like his presence wasn't truly felt in that manner and that guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was supposed to. I'm pretty sure he was hyped up to break out last season, and it just didn't really happen. I don't know if just because the defense just letting up so many points kind of overshadowed what he actually did, but it just,
he's still projected to be a
first blown out. And when your defense is getting blown out, you're not going to highlight defensive players usually.
Yeah, you might highlight a play here and there, if they made an impact in the game, but the offense obviously last year was the reason why they were in so many games. I mean, if they can stop the run, which they do got some big defensive tackles, I was reading, they have some big bodies in the middle. If they can clog up the D-line, control the run, maybe they can get to the passer. Because if you're getting gassed up down the field, your defense is going to eventually get burnt in the pass department because now you're so focused on the run. You're leaving your secondary vulnerable when you're playing one-on-one, you're playing soft coverage. Now you're in that situation where the defense is getting taken advantage of. And that's because the D-line and the linebackers have to control the running back. Now, if they control that, then maybe the defense gets back to what they were. New coordinator, of course. Chris said the key to the game is stopping the run. Yeah, I agree, Chris. If you stop the run against USC, which no Marshawn Lloyd, but USC, Luke, they have a great offensive line. Their offensive line is usually Lincoln Riley. That's Lincoln Riley ball. The O-line is going to protect the quarterback and the running back. And a lot of people are high on USC running the ball this year. And with their new quarterback, I believe his name, it's Miller, something like that. Riley Moss or some crap like that. But yeah, so I think, Luke, if they control the run, maybe USC can take advantage of USC, because USC doesn't play defense. They really don't.
No, they rely on the shootout. I mean, their quarterback looked good. Their quarterback that's starting this year, he looked good in the bowl game. So
5 touchdowns.
Always seemed to, yeah, he was lighting it up. So
could this game be
going to translate to this season or not? But
could this game be high 90s combined? 80s score wise? I'm taking the over. That's you can take the over.
64, 60.4.5.
Yeah. If you see last year's defenses, that's easily going to go over.
Yeah.
But Damn, I guess we can't save it, Luke. Doc's not in here. Let's talk Boston College. Let's talk Florida State.
Yeah, I don't think Doc's coming at this point.
I'm counting him as something came up. So Florida State, obviously, they will have an advantage because they did get to play 0 week. They did lose 24-21. Boston College typically gives Florida State some challenges. So is Florida State, with their loss last week, are they going to learn from that? Are they going to come into Tallahassee and control this game against the Boston College Eagles?
I don't think so. I mean, I think Florida State's going to be able to win this game. I think last week's going to be a big wake-up call for them to get right, hop off TikTok, stop dancing on TikTok before the game, because that's embarrassing to go make your little TikTok videos and get blown out. Well, they didn't get blown out, but lose to an unranked team. I mean, I thought Florida State probably walked into that game thinking it was going to be an easy win, and I think they just got humbled last week. And Norvell's got to get them right for this game because they can't go 0-2 in ACC play to start the season.
No, I mean like, and I agree with what some of the Florida State fans in our Discord were saying. Like, yes, the season's not over just because you lost 0 week and it was a conference game. You can bounce back, you can win, but if you lose in the conference game, like you said, you're 0-2. You still got to play Miami and Clemson this year. Like,
yeah,
those aren't just going to be walk in the park games. I know the Florida State game is in Clemson. Oh no, it's at home, but the Florida State Miami game's in Miami. So like, you just can't. You gotta win now. Like there's you should learn from your loss, take that pill, swallow it, and move forward. But I think they do win this game. Don't get me wrong. I think the talent is. They're not going to fall for that again like they did last week against Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think they're 16-point favorite. So I mean they have to win this game because it is going to be a very rough season to be a Florida State fan if they lose.
If Florida State loses, I mean, what we were talking, like, there's always a top 10 team. It seems like that falls out. Is that Florida State?
Yeah, it'd be crazy to be a top 10 team to fall out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because they're very fortunate that, of course, rankings don't come out after 0 week. I mean, they'll wait till week 1, but if they lose to Boston College, they could easily fall out.
Yeah,
there's no way you have an 0-2 team in the top 25,
no,
especially
not this early,
and not losing at home either. I get like, okay, Ireland is a mutual site. It's obviously across it's across in Europe, but this game's in Tallahassee. This is in your stadium, your field. You have to control this game. You have to dominate this game. And that D-line needs to go back to the D-line that everyone thought they were going to be. They have to control the field.
Everybody's been watching this game again. It's the only game on. It's on Monday night. Everybody's watching. You can't lose 2 games in a row with everybody watching, because everybody watching you lose again, you're going to be the talk of the town. It's tough. I mean, you can't sneak by at a 11 a.m. kick with 10 other games going on at the same time and squeak by a loss and nobody see it. Everybody's watching this game.
And Mike Norvell, I mean, I don't think the seat will be hot because, I mean, of the last 2 seasons that they've had with him.
He just got paid.
Yeah, but people are going to sit here and say, man, was he a 2-year wonder? Like, I mean, they'll start asking those questions.
Yeah, I mean, he'll survive the season probably no matter what.
Yeah,
I don't think he's on the verge of getting fired at all. They just paid him so he wouldn't go to Bama.
It just sucks because I mean,
just like a couple other schools do with their coaches as well, like Texas. Paid Sark so he didn't leave.
Well, I mean, Sark is trying to build something there too. I mean, recruiting is up.
Got paid, so he
didn't get paid. Yeah, I mean, it would suck for Florida State. Like, I'm saying, it's a new team. Last year, but to sit here and bitch all fucking off season in between saying we should have made the playoffs, and I get it, you don't have the same exact team you had last year, but this year it is a 12-man team. It's not like it's 4-man. So to sit here and bitch and say we're going to avenge that, it's not like let's say, okay, we understand it's a new team, but to sit here and say we're going to show this year we're top dogs, and then you're going to sit here and you're not catching it, like you're not catching a bite. You're getting your ass bit. Like, you're the team that's getting hunted, and you're the team that's getting taken out to the woodshed. So to all do all that talking all offseason, they better start backing it up very, very soon.
Yeah.
Because they talked a lot off this offseason.
I'd love to see Boston College win this game.
You would love to see it. Sydney would not like to see that.
No, she would not, but I would.
You wouldn't say anything in the household, but you'd be saying shit to us.
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, the chat would be crazy. I'm sure the memes that come out on social media of Florida State would be great.
I mean, you were quick to the trigger as soon as Boston College won. You already had it ready to go, right? And if Boston College wins this game or about to win, you're going to have it even quicker ready to go.
Yeah, that thing was ready to go. It was typed out as he was kicking it. I'm like, yep, that's in.
No, but so all lies, like you said, it's going to be on, I think, ESPN or ABC. It's ESPN, one of those channels.
It's on ESPN, it looks like.
Yeah, so like you said, this is a game where everyone's going to be watching, and 3 of the Florida schools, all eyes are on. Florida, Miami, Florida State. The historically the 3 biggest colleges in the state, all eyes are on them this week.
Too bad all 3 can't lose. One of them at least will.
At least one will. I mean, I think it's going to be the Gators. You have Miami, but Luke, let's go to a team that a lot of people keep hyping up. It's the Colorado Buffaloes. Are they on upset alert as they play North Dakota State tomorrow night?
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying it since I saw their schedule, NDSU, that NDSU's they're corn fed over there. They're going to come here play. These boys are going to be. Colorado said it. Every team that plays them is their Super Bowl. This is going to be the Buff Super. I mean, they're Buffs too, aren't they?
Yeah.
NDSU.
Well, they're the Bison, I think.
Are they Bison?
I think
same thing. Bison, Buffalo. It's the same thing.
I mean, a lot of recently since even when Carson Wentz was there back in the day, like a lot of people thought if a team could beat an FBS school from the FCS, it was North Dakota State. Like, not going to go beat Alabama.
They win a championship almost every year.
Yeah, they're close to it at least recently. But like they're not going to obviously think we know like they wouldn't go beat Alabama and Georgia and like the top names, Ohio State. But like the lower power schools, that people thought like the Vanderbilts, the Colorados, like schools like the Arizona States, all that. Like people thought that the North Dakota State Bison can do it, and I don't think they're going to do it. I would love to see them do it, but I think this game is going to be fought from the kickoff all the way into the final whistle. This is going to be an intense game.
Yeah, this will be. I think it's going to be a very close game. I mean, they got Colorado as a 10-point favorite right now. I think it's to be much less than that.
It's only 10 points.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep, 10 points. I mean, hey, they're putting some respect on North Dakota, but it's in Colorado. It's not gonna be too cold for the North Dakota team yet. I mean those boys like playing in the cold.
Yes, it's cold, Colorado and North Dakota State, so I don't think any cold weather is gonna bother them. I think Colorado wins. Don't get me wrong. I just do not take North Dakota. And it was funny because like Chris, I think Chris was joking, but he's like, "Oh, look at you glazing Colorado because they have a tough schedule." It's like, no, it's not that North Dakota State's good, but and I'm not preparing them like the glazing for. But I honestly think that North Dakota State is a respectable FCS school where if they go beat a power school team, I wouldn't be like confused by it because I think North Dakota State, they're a respectable FCS school. It's just the way that they play. They play hard, good. Good hard hitting football, and they run the ball really fucking well too. That also helps as well.
I mean, if they can limit the big explosive plays from Colorado, I think they will be well within the game. Like the game will stay within reach for them if they can limit the big plays from Sanders. I mean, they make Colorado run the ball, short passes. I think North Dakota State can stay in this game and maybe win it.
And don't turn the ball over neither.
I've sitting here, been looking at these, taking North Dakota State money line. I've been itching to pull the trigger on it. I had it lined up earlier today. I was like, I turned.
If you were drunk, you would.
I turned $20 into like $70, $80 real quick.
If you were drunk, you would have pulled the trigger, but you haven't been drinking.
Oh yeah. By the time this game kicks off, I mean, I might be well on my way to making that bet.
No, and they also have to limit turnovers too. Colorado or North Dakota State has to play their style of football. They have to control the ball. They cannot just sit here and let Colorado because the momentum because it's the first night, so the Buffalo fans are going to show up. Colorado, that stadium is going to be packed. It's going to be, like I said, it's a night game. It's Thursday night. It's one of the only two standalone games
sure,
you have.
Sure, it's going to be sold out.
Sold out, heavily watched too. Most odds are going to be because you still have UNC in Minnesota. So like UNC Minnesota will get some ratings because they are a Big Ten ACC school. Obviously, most people are going to watch Colorado because of the Colorado like noise, the Colorado hype, what the media puts on them. Of course, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, which I like Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is really good. Shedeur Sanders, I think he's electric. I think he has his moments. Maybe I'll start watching this year, see if he's padding his stats. I didn't really catch much of it last year, but also didn't watch much Colorado.
He'll take the sack instead of throwing the ball away, but that's why he was the most sacked quarterback last season too. But their offensive line was trash.
It was, and I don't think me saying Travis Hunter is a dog and a top, I'm not saying he's a great receiver, but he is a great corner. I don't think that's glazing because he was a 5-star recruit. I think he was like number 1 or 2 in his class.
I think he was the number 1 that was committed to Florida State at first, and
then he went to go play. Yeah,
Deion flipped him to JSU.
He did. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Travis is great. I mean, and playing like 98, 99% of all downs for the whole game. That is impressive too.
Yeah, he doesn't look tired when he's playing the full game too.
50 catches or something like that last year he had, and he missed a few games.
Yeah, if he didn't take that one hit, I mean, he could have been in the Heisman conversation at some point, playing both ways. I think that definitely puts you in the Heisman conversation, playing well on both sides of the ball. Because I'm pretty sure he has some interceptions. He had a bunch of touchdowns. So I mean,
that was a dirty hit too.
It was a dirty hit. I mean,
as much as we won't really root for Colorado, I think me and Chris said it in the chat.
That was a cheap shot on Travis Hunter, and it sucks because I mean I kind of liked watching Travis Hunter play. I think he's a really good player. Plays both ways. It's been a long time since we've seen some player do that.
The last two-way player to win the Heisman was Charles Woodson in 1998. Yeah. So, and he's talking about he wants the Heisman. And speaking of the Heisman, I mean, any bold predictions? Any Heisman predictions here? Any just college football season predictions? I mean, we did obviously our playoffs, but I didn't. Yeah, I just do this.
With this one, yeah.
I mean,
paired with bold predictions.
I think me and you are kind of agreeing. So I think Dylan Gabriel is. I think
he's set up to be the favorite right now. Yeah,
and Chris hates it too.
He's bitching about it earlier. Don't know why. Just random bitching about it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, where did that come from?
No context or anything.
And I asked him. I said, "Why? What happened?" Nothing. Yeah. Nothing in response to why Dylan Gabriel overhyped annoying.
I think he's set up for success for it. I mean, the type of offense that Oregon runs, I think it's going to suit him very well. I mean, he likes to sling the ball around. So, I mean, he can run a little bit. He's not the best runner. He doesn't like to run. Part of the reason he left UCF because Gus Malzahn likes running quarterbacks, and it's not really what he wanted to do, even though he transferred to Oklahoma, and he ran more than he did at UCF, which, doesn't make sense, but whatever. But I think this offense is going to suit him. I think he's going to look good in Oregon's uniforms, and I have him as my Heisman favorite.
I mean, just bold predictions in general, man. It's crazy. I mean, I think I think Chris, he said it last year. The dynasty was over at Alabama, right? And Nick Saban was fired. Yeah. He was right, and I think that Lincoln Riley is going to be fired at the end of the season. Or he's going to move on. I think when the season's over, I think he's done with.
Yeah. Mine's Dabo. I think Dabo's gone from Clemson. I don't think he gets fired, but I think he moves on. I think it's time, new face, new place.
I mean, that'd be interesting, though. Would he go build Florida up back to what they used to be? The problem with Dabo is he has to.
Florida is a good job opportunity for somebody. That is big program. It's been around for a long time. A lot of history. A lot of championships down with Florida. So
Yeah.
if somebody can go rebuild Florida, I mean, University of Florida is the only thing in Gainesville.
That's the only thing.
That town. Yeah, that's the only thing. It's the rest of that city's terrible. I mean, this is terrible with Florida there. It's middle of nowhere. I mean, you got to drive an hour and a half to go to a major airport. It's gross city.
I mean, I do think that Florida would be a good opportunity. The problem with Dabo is we talked about it, is he has to start utilizing the transfer portal, man. Like, you can't be stuck in your way. I mean, I get it. Like, people don't like it. Fans don't like it. People leave. NIL's there. But
that's what Saban did. He didn't like it. He left.
Yeah, he understood. And Saban didn't do a bad job with it. He just couldn't win the titles no more.
That's Bama, though. Bama's going to recruit itself.
But Nick Saban didn't refuse to go in the transfer portal. That was the thing. He still went in the portal. He still found players. Dabo is just he's against it. And that's his problem.
His loss, it's going to hurt the team. That's all it's going to do.
Because you're
going to lose players to the portal.
Yeah.
And Dab was saying that there's no players that he thought were better than the players he already had. I'm like, come on. There's no players that are going to help your team that's in the portal. Come on,
you just lost an amazing safety, and now he's with the Texas Longhorns. And hey, thank you, Dabo. Thank you for, not letting him, or I think you're letting him walk away. I don't know how much of a fight you put up for him, but hey, appreciate that. I mean, I really do. But Texas uses the portal. Shit, UCF just got KJ Jefferson from the portal. Yeah. So LSU used the portal. Gators use it.
Everybody's using it. You have to.
Colorado uses it.
Ole Miss, Portal King over there, Lane Kiffin. Self-proclaimed Portal King.
Speaking of Ole Miss, man, eyes are going to be on Ole Miss this year. A lot of eyes are going to be on Lane Kiffin and the Rebels.
Yeah, I think they could do it. I think they're a much more level team in the SEC than it has been recently. I think they can go in there, beat Bama. They can compete with Georgia. I'm sure they can probably compete pretty good with Texas too. I think they're going to put up a fight against any of these SEC teams.
I'm interested. Obviously, the SEC is changing. The Big Ten. All the conferences are changing with the realignment. It's going to be weird though, seeing some of these teams.
I know UCF's rivalry game is Utah now. It's weird.
You still
should have gave us Cincinnati, because we actually did have a little rivalry going back in the AAC.
I do like the fact that Texas is A&M, and then we obviously keep Oklahoma as the Texas State Fair weekend, which is the way it used to be when we were in the Big 12. We always played A&M at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma would play Oklahoma State, and battle Oklahoma right there. But Texas does have the Lone Star Showdown back, so with the old
that game will be electric.
I think that's
the season,
and I think that's the most expensive game in college this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's just ahead of Army and Navy. If I'm not, I really do. I think that's just ahead of Army and Navy. I think Army and Navy is actually third. I think as of right now. But I
saw like a little thing of it. All the expensive games. I actually looked at the Florida and Tennessee tickets. I was like the cheapest tickets are like almost $300. I'm like, God,
it's a rivalry. And I think out of the top 10, I think out of the top 10,
put some cheaper tickets in there.
I think it was either top 10 or top 15. I think Texas had like 3 of the matchups. Obviously, I think 4: Georgia, Michigan, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. I think 4 like the matchups were on there. At least 3 of them were on there. So obviously a lot of hype back now with Texas. Last year's what we did. Obviously going to the Final Four, 1 play away from making it to the championship to play Michigan. Obviously, we fell short to the Huskies. And then now joining the SEC. So, yeah, all eyes are on us. All eyes are on Oklahoma, which I feel like they gave them a hard schedule, gave us the easier schedule.
Fact.
And the teams reverse. Like, all for the SEC, they didn't change it. The only thing that changes is your out-of-conference schedule, whatever your 1-1 are or whatever. It's like Texas, every team in the SEC, whatever you're playing at home, you flip it. And, like Texas will play at Georgia next year, at Florida, which – I'm going to try and go to that Gator game. I'm going to even try to go to the Georgia game because Georgia is closer. Athens is closer than Gainesville.
Be tough matchups right there at their stadium.
Your bachelor party, Texas plays Florida that weekend. And me and Wade I was like, hey, Wade, you ready? He's like, yeah, it's going to be a long day for me. I was like, at least you're honest. I mean, at least you're honest. I'll give you that. But you never know. You never know. It's conference play. Anything can happen. But Luke, fun episode. Oh, you say?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. Now I was going to say, fun episode, man. Tuesday, it's a big one. This Tuesday coming up is a big episode. I'm already working on the PowerPoints for all of our predictions. I've already got yours completed. You were the base one I used, so I copied yours over, and I will change obviously the teams out, whoever has who. But
hell of a bracket lined up for the NFL.
Interesting top 10 in your draft order too. That number 2 team, I was a little intrigued.
It's the way the cards played. You pick every game. That's what happened to them.
But we will definitely be talking that Tuesday. Can't wait to have that. I'm hoping to have it sounds like all 5 of us are going to be in here. Chris should be back officially. No promises, but it's leaning that way. Jake and Doc should be back. Jake won't be in on Wednesdays during the football season when we do our predictions. So it sounds like the OGs will be the ones doing the Wednesdays. I'll get Jake's predictions, of course, but the OGs are back at it on Wednesdays only. Let's go. I lost. So bad news too, because I don't remember all the texts that happened with our predictions last year. I'm pretty sure you won the spread. When it came down when I was moving, we were close to the head-to-head, like just straight up. But on the app, I won, so we can count it as a chalk year. I'm pretty sure you won the spread. You were killing the spread. I do know that.
I was making some good. I mean, hey, gambling over here.
On the app, I only finished like I think two to four ahead, or 2 to 4 wins ahead of you. So it was close regardless. I know like we didn't really change much on the app compared to the predictions.
The app's hard. The app's hard to do it on because like there's games that you flip depending on where you're seated. So yeah.
Well, this year the app
game's gonna win.
This year in the app too, I have a handful of people. I know you haven't confirmed it, but I know I have like 10 to 15 people that want to do a yearly standing. So if whoever does the yearly standings they're probably not going to flip their picks that often because they're not just playing for Monday night, win this 1 week. They're playing for the yearly pot too. So we're going to talk and see who's all going to get in there. I have to still get you signed up for Survivor and Pick'ems, but
yeah, no, I got to sign up for them.
No, we got time. I'm going to start sending the reminders out tomorrow. But Luke, man, like I said, fun episode. Good luck to UCF tomorrow.
Hell yeah, I'll be watching it. That'll be the only game I'm watching tomorrow. I'm just kidding. Really? I'm going to watch Colorado.
I was going to say.
All right, multi-view. I mean, they got to have that one lined up, right? Is UCF game only on ESPN Plus?
ESPN Plus, so you can stream it on your you go on what is it, Stream East?
Yeah. No, I have ESPN Plus.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Good. Yeah, they hit me with that auto renew without me knowing. Just same thing. Fucking YouTube TV did with me. Sunday ticket.
It's good. That's what I have too.
I got that $400 charge. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, you paid? Oh, I pay monthly because Jake splits it with me.
No, I played it for the year last year, and it just hit me like $400. I'm like, God damn.
Well, it could.
They give me no warning or no nothing. They're about to take this money from me.
I disputed my charge because at first I didn't realize normally I got charged at the end of the month and it started in September last year, not in August. I got charged like August fucking 14th or 15th, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I looked at I went on my computer and I looked at my account. I was like, okay, I have 3 payments left. Makes sense. I didn't realize it was because YouTube TV was like, oh no, this is a correct charge. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And now I know every middle of the month now instead of the. So, but Luke, we'll see you Tuesday night. Obviously, we'll see you in the chats this Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Football season's here. Yeah, tomorrow. Football season is here. It's the best time of the year. All the way until February. We can't wait to continue to do this every Tuesday, every Wednesday from 9 to 11, potentially midnight for some of us. I know not all of us will be here to midnight, but some of us will be. Luke, I'll see you Tuesday with your predictions and all of the rest of ours. I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Boss podcast. We are out. Have a great night. Good luck to your college teams this weekend.